What if the past didn't stay buried in a future where science brings ancient predators back to life? One mistake turns the planet into a living nightmare. Animals mutate, cities fall, and humanity faces extinction from beasts we thought were long gone. But one secret force stands between survival and total annihilation. Welcome to the world of Ancient Awakened. You're not the hero, you're just a cadet, and this is how legends begin. Ancient Awakened, the cadets rise. Subscribe now, because this is just the beginning. In the not-so-distant future, Earth stood on the cusp of an unprecedented scientific revolution. After decades of studying extinct DNA sequences, a breakthrough came from a remote research facility hidden beneath the Arctic ice. There, a group of elite geneticists successfully achieved the resurrection of an ancient predator, the dire wolf. It was the first time in history that a creature lost to time had been brought back with such precision. The world watched in awe. Headlines read like science fiction novels come to life. Scientists called it a new dawn for biology. The project was named Regenesis, symbolizing humanity's power to reverse extinction. Fueled by global acclaim and immense funding, the research team accelerated their efforts. The next phase was bold, perhaps recklessly so. They initiated Project Genesis, an ambitious mission to revive other long-lost apex predators. This time, the targets were even more formidable: the saber-toothed cat, Andrewsarchus, the short-faced bear, the massive terror birds, and the nightmarish Deinosuchus, an ancient crocodilian that could swallow modern reptiles whole. Ethical lines blurred. Governments hesitated, but the allure of power of commanding nature's most dangerous creatures proved irresistible to secret factions. The experiments continued in secrecy, hidden from public view and buried under layers of military classification. Then, disaster struck. During a trial involving hybridized ancient DNA, a volatile chain reaction created an unintended byproduct, a gaseous chemical compound, later designated as primal spore. The gas was unstable, spreading silently through the ventilation systems of the subterranean labs. It leaked into the wild before anyone understood what it could do. The effects were immediate and terrifying. When any modern animal, from a common house cat to a bird or a wild bear, inhaled primal spore, it underwent a violent transformation. The gas triggered a hyper-accelerated regression in their DNA, mutating them into prehistoric versions of their ancestors. Dogs became dire wolves. Birds became massive, flightless terror birds. Rodents turned into saber-toothed gnaws. Insects grew into car-sized versions of their ancient counterparts, covered in armor like chitin. Each creature retained modern instincts, but added to it were the ancient rage and dominance of predators long extinct. At first, these mutations appeared in isolated pockets. Rural areas reported strange attacks by unidentifiable beasts. But within weeks, it was clear this was no accident. This was a global crisis in the making. Governments responded too late. Evacuations turned into massacres. Cities fell. Civilization was crumbling under the weight of its own hubris. The professors who created primal spore tried in vain to contain the outbreaks. But the gas adapted, even to their sterilization attempts. It seeped into the soil, bonded with water, and latched onto migrating birds. No containment effort worked. Many of the original scientists perished in the chaos, others disappeared into hiding. And yet, as all hope seemed lost, a new force emerged. ARK Ancestral Response Command was a Black Ops paramilitary group formed long before the disaster, anticipating that de-extinction science could go too far. Created by rogue scientists, ex-military leaders, and visionary strategists, ARK operated in secret, building a technological arsenal capable of countering ancient threats. With bases hidden across the world, from underwater stations to deep mountain bunkers, ARK was humanity's last shield. Their soldiers wore biomechanical combat suits capable of enhanced movement and survivability. Their weapons combined future tech with ancient biology DNA disruptors, plasma net launchers, and pheromone-based tracking systems. You are Riven Hale, a freshly recruited cadet officer in ARK, deployed to the high-risk quarantine region known as Zone Delta, an area overrun by dire wolves, mutated raptors, and saber-tooth hybrids. You begin your journey as a scout, assigned to reconnaissance missions. Your training includes handling high-risk encounters, using non-lethal lures, and collecting samples of primal spore. Early missions are brutal. You lose squad mates. You witness mutated wildlife tearing through steel barricades like paper. Despite the terror, you adapt. You learn. And your survival instincts sharpen. As the infection spreads, new types of enemies emerge. Cluster zones, massive hives of mutated beasts appear in abandoned urban centers. You discover that a rogue splinter group, once part of the original research team, is deliberately harvesting primal spore to weaponize it. They plan to dominate the chaos, commanding ancient beasts as living weapons. They call themselves the Order of the Prime, and they believe Earth should return to its primal roots. In their twisted ideology, humans are the invaders, and the old world must rise again. Your missions now involve tactical sabotage, infiltration, and even taming certain ancient creatures using experimental ARK tech. During one high-risk rescue mission, you save a senior ARK commander from a collapsing biozone. Your bravery earns you a field promotion to lieutenant. With the promotion comes responsibility and firepower. You gain access to higher-tier weapons, gravity repulsor grenades, drone-assisted targeting systems, and a modular exosuit that adapts to creature attacks. You're given command of a small strike squad. Each member has specialties. One's a tracker, another an exotech engineer, another a former biologist who understands beast behavior. You lead surgical strikes into core infection zones. You battle mutated ancient megafauna in collapsing cities, overgrown forests, and flooded ruins. You evacuate civilians from threatened regions and coordinate with other ARK teams across the globe. But your greatest challenge lies ahead. Deep within the ruins of the original Regenesis facility, something is stirring, a creature unlike anything seen before. Born from the combined DNA of multiple apex predators, mutated by high concentrations of primal spore, it is a new apex life form, Prime Rex. Massive, intelligent, and nearly impervious to conventional weapons, Prime Rex begins terraforming the surrounding environment. The land itself shifts, overrun by bioluminescent flora and twisted, ancient-like fauna. Ecosystems evolve rapidly around it. The zone becomes an alien jungle of Earth's prehistoric past reborn. ARK calls for a global operation, Operation Regression Zero. You're selected to lead the assault. In a last-ditch effort to stop Prime Rex, you're equipped with a prototype exo-beast suit, a biomechanical fusion of ancient predator traits and future human tech. It grants you strength, speed, resilience, and the ability to mimic certain predator calls and signals. You lead your team into the heart of the infected zone. The battle is relentless. The Order of the Prime defends Prime Rex with legions of twisted creatures. The environment itself seems to resist your progress. Storms roll unnaturally. Gravity shifts. Time feels warped. But through sheer determination, strategy, and sacrifice, you breach the final layer. In a climactic battle that spans across collapsing towers and roaring mutant forests, you confront Prime Rex. You use everything you've learned from your first cadet mission to your leadership as lieutenant. With precise strikes and with the help of your squad and the exo-beast suit, you weaken the creature enough to detonate a DNA destabilizer core. Prime Rex lets out a deafening ancient roar, then disintegrates into light. The world breathes again. You are promoted to captain the youngest in ARK's history. Now you lead not just missions but global initiatives, rebuilding, guarding, hunting the last remnants of mutated zones. But somewhere in the shadows, primal spore still lingers. The past is never truly gone, and the hunt is never truly over. Ancient Awakened. The Cadet's Rise is a tale of survival, courage, and evolution. A war not just against creatures of the past, but against the consequences of unchecked ambition. The player's journey from cadet to captain mirrors humanity's fight to reclaim its future from the claws of its ancient past. Earth survived, but only just. The beasts are gone for now, but the gas, the mutation, it still breathes beneath the soil, waiting, watching, hungry. And somewhere out there, a new storm is forming. Captain Hale thought the war was over, but this was just the first chapter. Subscribe to Round and join the hunt before it begins again.